the 8th of July 2020. In accordance with the 2020 coronavirus regulations, this meeting is being held virtually to facilitate attendance and enable the consideration of important matters. The meeting will therefore operate differently in that members of the Cabinet joining in remotely are still able to contribute and vote on any matter. I would ask all attendees tuning in to mute their microphones, please, unless they've been invited to speak. If anyone does wish to speak, please put the hand up icon in the message bar or send a message using the message icon in the middle of your screen, indicating your wish to speak. And I will invite you to turn on your microphone at the appropriate time. When you're finished speaking, please remember to turn off your microphone. Following questions and a debate, in order to make a decision on an item, I will ask the Chief Executive to ask Cabinet members whether they are for or against the proposal, or if. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed via the Council's website and will also be available to view by members of the public and the press who are allowed by law to film, audio record, take photographs, blog or tweet at this meeting. Before we start, can I ask all Cabinet members and scrutiny members present to introduce themselves in turn? I will start with myself. I am Councillor Davis, I'm the leader of the Council. Councillor Crompton.
Councillor Maria Crompton, Deputy Leader and Cabinet Member for Safer Communities.
Councillor Ali.
Councillor Wasim Ali, Cabinet Member for Resources and Core Services.
Councillor Hadley.
Councillor John Hadley, Cabinet Member for Home.
Councillor Millard.
Councillor Danny Millard, Cabinet Member for Skills and Employment.
Councillor Shaheen.
Councillor Farah Shaheen, Cabinet Member for Living Healthy Lives.
Councillor Taylor. No, Councillor Taylor.
No, she's online, no online chat.
Councillor Underhill.
Councillor Joyce Underhill, the Cabinet Member for Best Start in Life.
Councillor Elaine Giles.
Councillor Elaine Giles, Chair of Health and Adult Social Care Scrutiny.
Councillor Rollins.
Councillor Laura Rollins, Chair of Economy, Skills, Transport and Environment Scrutiny Board.
Councillor Singh.
Councillor Rajbir Singh, Chair of Children's Services and Education Scrutiny Board.
Yeah, Councillor Luke Giles, I believe, Leader.
Councillor Luke Giles.
Hello, thank you. Councillor Luke Giles, Chair of Budget and Corporate Scrutiny Management Board.
Councillor Moore. No, okay. So apologies for absence. Sorry, I have received apologies from Councillor Moore. Can we do agenda item number 2, which is the minutes of the meeting held on the 10th of June? I move them as a correct record. Do we have a seconder, Councillor Crompton?
I confirm that those minutes are a correct record, yes.
Leader?
Yes.
Can I say on here, Jackie Taylor, Cabinet Member for Sustainable Transport.
Thank you, Jackie. Member to declare any interesting matters to be discussed. Additional items of business.
There are no additional items of business today, Leader.
Should I bring my additional item of business in?
Is it the end, Leader?
Yeah, okay. Agenda item number 5, Sandwell Residential Education Centre. charges for the period the 1st of August 21 to 31st of July 22. Can I ask Councillor Underhill to present the report, please?
Thank you, Leader. This report is actually to authorise the Director of Education, Schools and Employment to implement the new charges for the period the 1st of August 21 to the 31st of July 22 for our residential centres. Like many businesses during the pandemic, our residential centres have lost their income, and these new charges hopefully will have the centres occupied for as much of the school year as possible to encourage usage. Low season charges have been reduced and the season extended to encourage the demand throughout the year and minimise the empty periods. In Sandwell, as a council, we have been determined to keep our residential centres open, even with the restraints on the council budget. We've done this so the children from the borough can benefit from the wide range of experiences these centres offer. This endorses the council's principle of giving our children the best start in life, and I hope that Cabinet will actually approve the new charges. Thank you, Leader.
Mike, Leader.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Councillor Underhill? No? Okay. Can we move to the vote? Chief Executive, can you do a call on each member, please?
Yeah. Councillor Davies, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor abstain.
4.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
4.
Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Everyone is in favour and the report is approved.
I haven't cast my vote.
Oh, I do apologise, Councillor Hadley. How on earth could we have missed you?
Exactly.
Yeah, my apologies, Councillor Hadley. For, against or abstain.
4.
And on that, it is unanimous and it is approved. Thank you, Councillor Hadley. Agenda item number 6 is the appropriation of Heath Lane Cemetery Lodge, West Bromwich, to the housing revenue account. Can I ask Councillor Ali to present the report, please?
Thank you, Leader. The Heath Lane Cemetery Lodge provided accommodation for a service tenant. The house is now empty and the service wishes to declare the house surplus to their requirements. Following appropriation, the house will undergo various improvements and then be rented as part of the council's housing stock. The main reasons for seeking to appropriate the land in question is to ensure the properties are brought back into economic beneficial use, supporting the increase in demand for housing stock in Sandwell. Thank you, and I wish to move the report.
Thank you, Councillor Ali. Do we have any questions? No questions. Can we move to the vote? Chief Executive, could you call on each member, please?
Councillor Davies, for, against or abstain.
Remembering to call on Councillor Hadley.
I will. Councillor Davies, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
4.
Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Everyone is in favour and the report is approved. I hope you will now indulge me to address some of the unveiling things around me. At 9:30 last night, I opened an email from the Labour Party and learned that I was subject to an administrative suspension based on complaints of anti-Semitism relating to retweets that I made 2 and 3 years ago. I haven't had the opportunity to answer these charges, but they've suspended me in any case. Of course, some local party members have chosen to leak these matters to the press. They have then campaigned on the basis of my presumed guilt. For the record, I am not anti-Semitic. I am horrified that I might even be considered so to be. Equally, I am as aware as our party leader of the risks of unconscious bias and the dangers of perpetuating negative tropes. Had I been asked about this, as a male shadow cabinet member was earlier this week, and about a tweet not 2 or 3 years old, but as recent as last Saturday, I could have apologised for my historic misjudgment. Maybe it's because I'm a woman. Possibly it's because I'm a strong woman. Or maybe other factors have been at play, which are about the approach I've tried to bring to the running of the council. When I became leader just over a year ago, I made a number of promises to the people of Sandwell and the staff of our council. Among them was the promise that I would act with integrity, that I would use my leadership to model the courage and transparency that we need as a Labour group and as a council. I said that as public servants, we answer to the people of this borough, and they should expect that we will, at all times, conduct ourselves with the utmost integrity, and that we will uphold the highest standards in public life. I also commented, I'm sure you will remember, that we had in the recent past fallen well short in this regard. Since then, I have worked as hard as I can to deliver on that promise. I have led this council's conduct and that of its members and officers, using proper procedures and processes, upholding the Nolan principles in public life, guided by core values and principles of decency, honesty, and integrity. Under my leadership, we have ensured the proper separation of member and officer roles. We have ensured clarity in the responsibilities of the political executive and scrutiny. I have opened the council up to external challenge, looking to learn from the best that we can of what is happening elsewhere. I have worked hard to enhance the council's reputation with government, with neighbour councils, and with the local government sector more broadly. We are actually doing well, and we must continue in that same vein. Quite rightly, where there has been evidence of possible wrongdoing, we have investigated. This has applied to officers and to members. Those investigations have proceeded according to due process. Confidentiality has been respected, and those investigations need to continue through due process to a conclusion through the appropriate council and political processes. No one under my leadership has been paid to leave. Nothing has been covered up. I have always insisted that we do the right thing. Through this process, some elected members have been asked to account for their previous conduct where it appears to have fallen short of expected standards in public life. To names or allegations, as due process needs to conclude, but people should be in no doubt at all. The people of this borough should be in no doubt at all that some of those findings are truly shocking, including cover-ups, misuse of public funds, reports being leaked, use of private emails to hide communications, lies being told to courts, clear racism. We did have in this council a culture of deceit and cover-up, sly lies, snide comments, destructive dripping of poison into the public domain, misinformation and prejudice. In some cases, this has absolutely destroyed people's lives and their livelihoods. And I will mention the RAG report, something that some people prefer to think is over, is done, is dusted. Well, believe me, it is not. It remains a stain on this council's reputation. It is riven with and surrounded by racism and racist intent, with Black Lives Matters shining a light on the casual way that our public institutions enshrine racism. It actually breaks my heart that we have presided over such a racist endeavour. It also represents a flagrant misuse of public funds to pursue political objectives. You must ensure that it is not allowed to be buried again. So people should ask themselves, why has the leader of Sandwell Council been forced out? Why has someone gone to the trouble to troll her Twitter account, searching on the basis of possible pejorative terms? Why have they gone back 2 years to find only retweets of other people's work, not even original statements? Is this really about anti-Semitism? Or is it about a cover-up of some disturbing truths that are shortly to come into the public domain? Is it more about powerful self-interest seeking to avoid proper scrutiny? Proper accountability for those who have fallen disgracefully short of expected standards in public life? And who is behind these complaints, you should question. Is it the white, male, old guard who were at the heart of this shocking behaviour in the past? Who did leak these allegations to the press and deliberately whip up a campaign to remove me from office? What was the role of the local MP in all of this? And ask yourselves, how far does the collusion and malign intent reach up into the Labour Party hierarchy? I predict that these same people, using the full weight of the party machine, will now try to seize power in Sandwell by contriving reasons to suspend others in the current executive I was told of my own suspension more than 4 weeks ago. People knew I was going to be suspended. They will then try to bury all the misconduct allegations. They will bully others by holding the threat of suspension over them. The echoes of 4 years ago, when I was told by somebody the reason they were doing something was because they weren't going to find themselves suspended, shocked me to my core, is still operating today. Those people absolutely should be held to account for their actions. People of this borough should demand that they are held to account. Responsible journalists should be ensuring that these matters are brought out into the light of day. I won't be here when this is done. I am resigning my position as leader, but the questions and the choices will remain for the Labour Party, for the Sandwell Labour Group, and for the people of this fine borough. Right now, the choice is pretty stark. There is a group of old white men who want to go back to the vile baiting, the poisonous leaking, the denigration of fellow elected members for political purposes, the misuse of public funds for political retribution, numerous officers hounded out of employment because they would not follow the political line or because they fell out of favour with the leadership. Millions of pounds, and I do mean millions of pounds, of public funds have been spent with little regard to the public purse. A return to white male old guard who will pay lip service to equality and Black Lives Mattering, but who will seek ultimately to preserve their own power base for its own sake. Or the council can embrace a new future where its elected representatives are humble in their service to the public, where they absolutely respect that they serve only in the interests of the people of Sandwell, where one gives real meaning to the fight against prejudice and inequality, and where you have transparency, honesty, integrity in all of your dealings. People of this borough absolutely deserve the best council led by the best councillors driven by the right values. This self-serving political malignancy and this interference in local leadership by outside party interests serves only to undermine confidence in this council's ability to serve its people well. It undermines the institution of local government itself. But that future is for others. I won't be here to lead you. I've got things to do. I've got places to go and people to see. But the questions genuinely really need to be answered long after my leadership is over. My place will be taken in the interim by the statutory deputy, Maria Crompton. She will step into the space. I want to thank the staff of this council, the finest that there are, working incredibly hard and bringing good Black Country humour to often their incredibly difficult jobs. Invidious to mention any groups I know, but I would mention our fantastic neighbourhood office staff, incredibly supportive to me over the years, whether as a backbench councillor, as a suspended group member, and I hope now as a suspended Labour leader. I would also like to pay particular tribute to the Cabinet Secretaries. In perhaps the vilest of many vile political deeds, they were marched unceremoniously off the premises and suspended under the previous regime. A harder working and more loyal group of staff you won't find anywhere. Thank you, Jane, and your wonderful team. If I've achieved nothing else, I hope I've helped to make you all feel valued and indispensable as the workers that you are. This authority needs people like you. And finally, to the people of Sandwell, it has been my pride and my pleasure to serve you in the various guises that I've been in this area for the best part of 20 years. And remember, ultimately, none of us work for the council. My chief executive, David Stevens, doesn't work for the council. We all work for the people of Sandwell. It's your council, it's not our council. You deserve the best council led by the best councillors, driven by the right values. There's political corruption that has been operating in Sandwell for too long. That's what it serves to undermine confidence in this council. If I've been able to bring some of those public service values to bear in my work here, then hopefully, I have made a difference. I think my cabinet has made a difference. I'm enormously proud of the strong team that we built at the top table, working together positively, not listening to gossip, not dripping poison, following proper process with the right values. I wanted to leave you with a lovely letter that I had this week while this maelstrom was around me. Because this is why I came into public office, and this is why I try to make a difference. And it is from a constituent that I do not know. And he says, "Hello again, Councillor Davis. I just felt the need to give a personal thank you to you. I have only contacted you on a few occasions, but each time you've been so extremely prompt and efficient with the matter raised. And even if the outcome is not that desired, your response has always given assurance that one is not wasting their time in going to the trouble to bring matters to the attention of the council, especially when it may be of benefit to others. Again, I sincerely thank you, and please, there is no need for a reply." I think that resident epitomises what I have tried to achieve in all my work in life, whether it's as an officer in the voluntary sector or as a councillor. I am very, very happy to have that letter as my epitaph. Thank you to Sandwell and you all. Be brave. Carry on with our work. Do not fail in your pursuit of truth and justice. Build a council that we can be proud of. And I shall watch your progress with a huge amount of pride in my heart. Thank you. The meeting is closed. Thank you.